thing. A woman doesn't wake up one day and decide to cheat. Her betrayal starts quietly, emotionally, long before anything physical happens. You see, women are emotional beings. Their loyalty is connected to their emotional fulfillment. When she begins to disconnect, not because of one argument, but because of accumulated emotional neglect, she starts looking for what she's missing somewhere else. The first sign is emotional detachment. You'll notice she's not present anymore. Her conversations become surface level, her laughter feels forced, and her interest in you seems to fade. This isn't about another man yet. It's about her slowly detaching from the emotional bond that once made her feel safe. The second sign appears in her routine and time. Suddenly, she's too busy, too tired. Her priorities change, and so does her energy. When a woman starts protecting her schedule more than her relationship, it's a subtle red flag that something inside her is shifting. The third sign comes with defensiveness and secrecy. Her phone becomes private territory, her social media energy changes, and she starts creating emotional walls. When a woman guards her space too tightly, it often means she's hiding emotional exchanges she doesn't want questioned. Then there's loss of respect. This one hurts the most. She may no longer admire you the way she once did. Her tone changes, her patience fades, and her eyes say what her words won't, that she's emotionally done. In psychology, this is called emotional detachment through contempt, where she lowers your value internally to justify her actions. The fifth sign is often overlooked, a sudden transformation. She changes her style, her habits, or her appearance. This isn't always for you anymore. It's for the validation she's getting elsewhere. When a woman starts dressing for attention she doesn't need from you, she's silently seeking it from someone else. Then comes inconsistency. Her behavior swings between warmth and coldness. One moment she's affectionate, the next she's distant. That's because emotionally, she's living in two worlds, one with guilt and one with fantasy. And lastly, there's that gut feeling. Female psychology teaches us that men often ignore their intuition until it's too late. But the truth is, energy doesn't lie. When her love language changes, when her peace feels unreachable, her body language tells the story her words won't admit. Emotional detachment is always the first and most silent sign that a woman is drifting away, long before any visible act of betrayal takes place. In female psychology, emotional connection is the foundation of love, loyalty, and trust. When a woman feels emotionally safe, she nurtures that bond with care, affection, and openness. But when that safety begins to fade, when her emotional needs go unnoticed or unappreciated, she slowly starts detaching. Not out of cruelty, but out of self-preservation. This detachment rarely happens overnight. It begins quietly through small changes that seem harmless at first. She might stop sharing the little details of her day, or she might become less expressive when you talk. Her laughter no longer sounds the same. Her touch feels distant, and the warmth in her eyes starts to dim. What was once an effortless emotional connection now feels like you're talking to someone behind an invisible wall. In the early stages of emotional detachment, a woman doesn't always realize what's happening herself. She might feel drained, confused, or emotionally numb without fully understanding why. Female psychology teaches us that women seek emotional closeness as a form of security and identity. When that emotional bond is no longer reciprocated, she begins to pull away, not always to hurt, but to protect her heart from further disappointment. You'll notice subtle shifts. She stops asking for your attention, not because she doesn't want it, but because she has already learned she won't get it the way she needs. She no longer complains about what's missing in the relationship because she has silently accepted that emotional hunger is part of her new normal. In her mind, detachment feels safer than rejection. Once this emotional distance sets in, the relationship enters a fragile space. A woman who once turned to you for comfort might now turn inward. She begins to invest her emotional energy elsewhere, sometimes in friends, sometimes in work, and sometimes dangerously in another person who gives her the emotional recognition she's been missing. The emotional void you don't notice, someone else might fill with attention, understanding, or empathy. This is why emotional detachment is the root of most infidelity. When she begins to emotionally withdraw, her mind starts to disconnect from the relationship before her body ever does. It's not about physical desire. It's about emotional starvation. A woman cheats emotionally first by opening her inner world to someone new. And that emotional openness eventually creates a pathway to physical closeness. What's interesting is that during this phase, her behavior can become confusing. Sometimes she may seem perfectly normal, laughing, engaging, even affectionate, but it's surface level, deep down. Her emotional investment has already been redirected. Other times she may appear distant or irritated for no apparent reason. That's her internal conflict showing up externally. She's torn between the loyalty she once felt and the emotional detachment she now lives in. From a psychological perspective, emotional detachment is also a coping mechanism. When a woman feels emotionally neglected for too long, she suppresses her feelings as a defense. It's her way of saying, I can't keep giving my emotions where they're not valued. This self-protection mode slowly replaces love with numbness. And once numbness takes over, it becomes very difficult to rebuild the same level of intimacy that once existed. Another key element here is communication. A woman who's emotionally detaching often stops communicating in the same way she used to. Conversations become shorter, less expressive, and more mechanical. She may stop discussing her dreams, her fears, or her feelings, not because she has none, but because she no longer feels emotionally heard. The communication becomes purely functional, not emotional. In many relationships, men mistake this silence for peace. Thinking everything is fine because there are no arguments. But silence doesn't always mean harmony. Sometimes it means withdrawal. A woman who stops fighting for the relationship has already started detaching emotionally. The moment she stops trying to fix things, it's not acceptance, it's resignation. What makes this stage dangerous is that it's invisible. Emotional detachment doesn't make noise. It doesn't shout or argue. It simply fades, slowly, quietly, until one day you realize that the connection is gone. And when that emotional bond dies, physical loyalty soon follows. Because in a woman's world, the heart leads the body. In relationships, many partners focus on catching physical signs of cheating. But by the time those appear, the emotional betrayal has already taken place. The real affair started the moment she stopped feeling connected to you. That's why awareness is crucial. When you start noticing emotional distance, when her tone changes, when she withdraws, when she stops confiding in you, don't ignore it. That's the stage where healing is still possible. Emotional detachment doesn't always mean she's already cheating. Sometimes it's her silent cry for attention, a plea for emotional reconnection before it's too late. If recognized early, it can be reversed through empathy, open communication, and effort. But if neglected, that detachment becomes permanent, turning into emotional numbness that eventually ends the relationship. So, when a woman starts emotionally withdrawing, don't respond with judgment or suspicion. Respond with awareness. Ask yourself what emotional needs might have gone unfulfilled, where the communication broke down, and what she's been silently feeling, Because emotional detachment is not just a sign that love is dying. It's a reflection that emotional intimacy, the very soul of the relationship, needs healing. Once a woman emotionally checks out, it's difficult to bring her back. But with genuine presence, emotional validation, and effort, reconnection is still possible. Because in the psychology of love, the heart doesn't betray easily. It only drifts when it feels unseen. And the moment a woman feels emotionally safe again, she naturally returns to the love she once built with all her heart. Change in routine and priorities is one of the most telling signs of emotional redirection in a woman's behavior. It doesn't always begin with obvious changes, but rather with subtle shifts that accumulate over time. When a woman's heart starts moving away from a relationship, her schedule often follows. Psychologically, Women are highly attuned to emotional balance. When that balance feels broken, they unconsciously start reorganizing their time, energy, and focus to find a new sense of stability. At first, it may look harmless. She's suddenly busy taking on new activities or spending more time on her phone. She might mention a new project, a friend she's reconnecting with, or a hobby she's recently developed an interest in. On the surface, this seems like personal growth, and sometimes it truly is. But when these changes begin to replace quality time, emotional closeness, and daily connection, it often signals a deeper emotional shift. In relationships, a woman's time reflects her emotional priorities. When she feels emotionally secure, she naturally invests in the relationship, planning moments together, initiating conversations, or checking in emotionally. But when she starts to feel disconnected or unfulfilled, she instinctively redirects that energy towards something that gives her a sense of validation or excitement. This redirection could be work, social media, friends, or in some cases, someone new who makes her feel understood again. Psychologically, this behavior is a form of emotional compensation. When emotional needs aren't met, the human brain seeks alternate sources of fulfillment. A woman who feels neglected may start filling her calendar with distractions that allow her to escape the discomfort of emotional emptiness. It's not always a conscious choice to distance herself. It's a subconscious coping mechanism. She's trying to balance the emotional scales by finding meaning or stimulation elsewhere. You may also notice her energy changing. The enthusiasm she once had for shared experiences begins to fade. She becomes easily irritated by small things, avoids emotional conversations, or shows a lack of interest in resolving conflicts. When her emotional investment declines, her priorities follow. What once mattered to her in the relationship no longer seems to hold value. Another psychological factor at play is guilt. When a woman starts emotionally engaging with someone else or hiding her inner thoughts, she often feels guilty. That guilt pushes her to justify her behavior by appearing overly occupied. She might overuse phrases like, "I'm just tired," or "I've been so busy lately." These excuses aren't always lies. They're defense mechanisms to protect her secret emotional world from being exposed. Eventually, this shift creates emotional distance. Her focus moves from us to me. The time once shared becomes divided, the conversations shorten, and her responses turn mechanical. Her life starts forming separate compartments, one where you exist and another where her emotional energy now flows. Recognizing this change early is important. A shift in routine doesn't always mean infidelity, but it does mean emotional detachment is growing. Addressing it with awareness, empathy, and open communication can often prevent the gap from widening. Because when a woman starts changing her routine, it's not always about time. It's about where her heart feels most alive.